You're going to absolutely love this edition of VisionCast Network. It features Harry Heater. He is a chiropractor and a visionary, and an all-around fantastic guy. Stay tuned, here it comes. Dr. Harry Heater.
Christian Raphael.
How you doing, man? How's San Diego?
San Diego is bright and sunny with just a touch of haze, but a beautiful morning.
Nice.
Absolutely glorious. How are the deep blue skies of New Mexico?
They are rich, turquoise, and stunning.
I remember working in a one of my cooking jobs, and I met a woman who just came back from living in New Mexico for 3 years.
Okay.
And she described it, and it was like, oh my God, I got to move out west. Eventually I did, but not New Mexico. But yeah, heard nothing but amazing things about the skies there.
It's a magical place, that's for sure. Yeah, so thanks for asking. Now, so let's dive into it, shall we, Harry?
Sure, absolutely.
Welcome to another edition of VisionCast Network, where intention, collaboration, and technology gather in service to humanity. Today's guest is Harry Heater. Now, Harry, just dive in, tell us what it is that you do, who you serve, and why you're passionate about your profession.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, Christian. Appreciate you having me on. I am a chiropractor. It's actually my third career, and I'm interested in helping other chiropractors help more patients. So that's what my business is all about. So I'm looking for family and wellness chiropractors. And what I do is I help them optimize their time and their availability in order to educate their new patients. And the goal for family and wellness chiropractors naturally is to have a family and wellness practice.
Okay.
And having a well-educated patient base goes a long way to understanding the value of chiropractic,
Okay.
even in the absence of symptoms. And so I'm helping chiropractors grow their wellness patient base. Ultimately, it will help them with impacting more. And I get to impact more too, because I get to educate not just my patients, but other doctors' patients.
Love it. So, what is the system that you use to do that? I believe you have a fairly well thought out plan and program that you walk your clients through, correct?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do. I've set up a virtual new patient education class for chiropractors. Traditionally, what happens is we stay one night a week. Sometimes it's once every 2 weeks. And in a class, in a setting inside the office after hours, one night a week, we'll gather our new patients that have come in over the last, say, week or two, and we'll sit down for an hour and we'll talk about health, and we'll look at it through a chiropractic lens.
Okay.
The trouble with that traditional way of doing things is that chiropractors can only capture rather just a portion of their new patients.
Hmm.
Right? People are busy, and chiropractor, let's say that you pick Wednesday night as is the night you're going to have your class. Well, too many people already have plans. Maybe it's date night on Wednesday night, or they take the
Yep.
kids to soccer, or they work
Yep.
late. So what I do is I'll have multiple days rather per week, multiple times per day, in order to capture more of the new patients. And so I'll do it in a virtual setting over Zoom, much like we're doing here. I can
Okay.
have multiple chiropractic offices represented on the same call.
Hmm.
Doesn't have to be just one office at a time. And that way I can expand my reach, and I can help chiropractors lay a foundation of understanding health through that more vitalistic lens instead of the traditional medical lens that we get, which is an outside-in philosophy. And as you probably know, chiropractic is an inside-out way to make you
Yes.
healthy.
Aligning those levels. Yes. So it sounds like you aggregate um, information and disseminate it in a way that goes out to multiple offices simultaneously, regardless of the location, correct?
100%. So the doctors would simply go online, schedule their new patients in one of the available time slots, and that's it. And then twice a day, 2 days a week, I am live and online educating the masses. There's no pre-recorded material. It's all me, all live, and that's unique in the profession. Nobody else does that. There are people that provide a pre-recorded class on
Okay.
DVD or maybe a streaming service where you can click on a link and send your patients there. In fact, a couple of doctors I know have even recorded their own and
Okay.
they've hosted it, like say on a YouTube channel, put the link on their website, something like that. But it's not effective. Anything that's pre-recorded is much less effective than something that's live and interactive.
Right. You don't get that ebb and flow. You don't get that live environment where you're actually able to ask questions, correct, and maybe make some blunders here and there and say, oh, what I really meant to say was, and it gives it a level of humanity and authenticity that is not available in a pre-recorded offering.
Yeah, that's very true. People can, well, as you probably know, you've done a lot of a lot of learning and a lot of training. Sometimes we'll be on a we'll be on a call and someone will say something and we didn't quite get it. So we're
Yeah,
stuck trying to reason through that while they have moved on
exactly.
to the next point, right? And now we're stuck because not only have we maybe not quite figured out what what we were trying to figure out, but now we missed what we weren't listening to. So you're right, having that live Q&A where people can just raise their hand and say, "Doc, stop.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. Totally does not make sense. Explain that."
yeah.
Because a lot of what I talk about is 180 degrees away from the traditional way of thinking.
Okay.
You know, we don't necessarily get the best health advice out there, right? Through mainstream channels.
So say more about that and why that's important and how you came to that awareness, that understanding, and that approach, please.
Sure. Well, imagine, I mean, a fever is a pretty straightforward example. And a
Yep.
lot of people have made the leap already, but still a lot haven't. A lot of people, if they have a fever, they look at themselves as being sick,
Okay.
right? My body's doing something wrong. I get a fever.
Yep.
When in actuality, we know that fever is a healthy thing.
Okay.
Fever is the way that the body's immune system will try to make the environment inside the body inhospitable for the virus, the bacteria, whatever's in there that's causing the symptoms in order to deactivate it, get rid of it, and return the body to health.
Yes.
Well, yeah, so if people continue with the outdated notion that a fever is a bad thing and the body is somehow messed up, well, they're going to run maybe to the drugstore and they'll get something to knock the fever down
Yep.
and stop the body's innate healing capabilities. Well, does that make sense? To take the body's wisdom and just shut it off with a chemical, right? Or does it make more sense to maybe make yourself more comfortable? Recognize that fever is a healthy thing, even though it doesn't really feel very good. We don't like it necessarily, right? We don't want to feel that way, but
Right.
we can at least recognize the fact that it's a healthy process the body's going through in order to get us well for the long term and take the
Understood.
appropriate step that way,
So are you
right?
saying,
Ultimately,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. Are you saying that that the fever has a message in that by listening to what the fever is communicating, we can approach our healing process in a more holistic fashion?
well, what I'm saying is that the body works the way the body works,
Okay.
and that if we go with the flow of the body,
Yeah.
right, we recognize what's really going on versus what we're told
Okay.
is going on necessarily, right? Then we'll get to understand that, hey, I'm going to help my body heal more quickly.
Gotcha.
And I'm going, wow, do you like my ringtone? Do you recognize it?
I didn't. Is that a question?
Yeah.
Did it just go off your ringtone?
Yeah.
I I didn't hear it.
That's funny. I didn't deactivate my ringer and I even thought to
Oh,
do it. That's it's the Looney Tunes Bugs Bunny cartoon opening theme song and
la,
closing theme song.
la, da, na, da, da, na. So the beauty this is the beauty of live, right? Because I just have one comment about Bugs Bunny.
Sure.
He was wrong.
Oh, as far as How to
I
get to Albuquerque?
make a wrong turn in Albuquerque. I did not make a wrong turn. Yeah.
No, you landed in the right place.
Absolutely landed in the right place. So, listening to honoring the body's inner wisdom, and holistically healing, as opposed to painting over a spot that doesn't really need to be painted over. It needs to be heard, listened to, and we need to unleash the internal power and our innate healing ability. Am I understanding that correctly?
100%, 100%. And one of the things I do too, and I do not dwell on this in the class, but I do just want to raise awareness with people, but I show them the health statistics about like how much money we spend in this country versus other countries, and how many medications we take versus other countries, and where we rank in health. You know, the money we spend and the meds we take are very, very high, and our ranking in health is very, very low. And
Mm.
so there's a big disconnect there. And again, it's not to harp or make anybody wrong. I just want to raise awareness around it for
Oh.
people so that they get to start to think, all right, maybe, you know, maybe things change, right? I mean, medical doctors used to advertise for cigarettes, right? You
Mm.
would see them in magazines, just smoking a cigarette. I remember vividly as a kid, the truck rolling down the street, and this was be in the mid or late 60s,
Yep.
and what looked like a big cement mixer drum on the back of it.
Yep.
And it was just spraying DDT into
Mm.
the trees.
Yep.
Okay. We didn't give it a second thought, but would
Yep.
we do that now?
No.
Would we smoke cigarettes? Would we do DDT?
No.
So, you know, as information changes and as our awareness changes and we learn more and more, it's important to make sure that the people who might have been left behind with no way of thinking get that software update.
Yep. Update that software, that thinking, because Winston tastes good like a
I don't know that one.
cigarette.
Oh,
Should
like a cigarette should?
Yeah, remember that one?
Okay. I do. I remember Tarrenton. I'd rather fight than switch,
Oh,
right?
like person with a black eye or something.
Person with a black eye, right? And then
Wow.
there was the T-zone. With Chesterfield used to advertise in magazines back in the 50s and 40s, the T-zone. It was taste and throat. So the taste of the Chesterfield and the throat feel of the Chesterfield was supposed to be the best.
Wow. Yes. That's probably like an ad. That's an ad for an endorsement for Tom Waits.
Oh, right? Exactly.
Yeah,
Leon Redbone.
Leon Redbone, right on. Beautiful. So, how did you decide to become a chiropractor? I'm curious.
Oh man, that's a cool story. Actually, it's because I built a telescope when I was 20.
Oh,
That's how
that makes perfect sense.
that's how I ended up being a chiropractor. No, for real. I was
You-
fascinated and still am with the universe.
Okay.
How big is it? Where is it? Why is it?
Yeah.
You know, everything about the universe fascinates me, how it all stays together and how it works. And so I built a telescope. I used to belong to a telescope makers group when I
Okay.
was fresh out of high school. And so
Okay.
I built this thing. I still use it. It stands about 6 feet tall and it's about as big around as a dinner plate. And I was looking for, I don't know, stuff. Like, I
Okay.
don't know what I was going to see, but I was looking for stuff. Maybe I could find the secret of the universe. And so when I started going through the options of what I could do after being a chef,
Okay.
chiropractic fascinated me. So I talked to one of my chiropractors, or my chiropractor rather, about it. And he started explaining to me about the nervous system and how chiropractic's not so much about the bones as it is about the nervous system, the spinal cord and the nerves that the bones protect, right?
Yeah.
That body's communication system.
Yeah.
And then he said something interesting, which was there's an idea, there's a recognition in chiropractic called universal intelligence.
Okay.
Chiropractors recognize that universal intelligence is in all matter.
Okay.
That's the organizing intelligence that keeps everything going. Well, that's what keeps the planets circling around each other, and that's what keeps the oceans on the earth and the whole thing. So he started explaining to me that we have a piece of that universal intelligence inside all of us.
Okay.
And I look at it as God's software program.
Yep.
That's what runs over the hardware, the nerves and the spinal
Yep.
cord and so forth. So he explained that when we adjust the spine and we make the nervous system healthier, what we're doing is we're allowing that God software program, our innate intelligence, to work unrestricted, uninterfered with.
Hmm.
And I said, so you mean kind of the same stuff I'm trying to look at through my telescope I get to work with in the human body? Like every day with every person? He says, yep.
Where do
I
I
said,
sign up, right?
I said, holy cow. So yeah, I remember going into AJ's, which is the kitchen where I was working at the time. It was only a few weeks before Thanksgiving. And I said, I gotta go. They said, what do you mean you gotta go? I was the executive chef there. I said, I gotta go. I
Hmm.
got to I got to go to chiropractic college. They said, you can't leave. It's 2 days before, 2 weeks before the holidays. I'm like, well,
Wow.
I got to get my undergrad work done and I got to do this, I
Hmm.
got to do that. And that was it, man. Never look back.
Yeah, because when you know, huh?
When you know, and that's the cool thing. Cause
Yeah.
let's see, when was that? That was 2004. So I was 43
Okay.
at the time. And it was a really intentional choice at that age. I sort of fell into electronics when I got out of high school. It was the
Okay.
big thing. Computers were now, late 70s, early 80s. Computers were the big thing. And it's like, well, of course I'm going to get a computer job. I didn't really give it much thought. But after about 8 or 9 years, that wore really thin, didn't like it. So I went and worked with food and I became a chef and I did that for about 15 years.
Hmm.
Because I loved it. I grew up with that. I came from an Italian family. My
Okay.
mom and my aunt would make gnocchi and ravioli on the kitchen table. And I mean, as an Italian, shoot, food was everywhere, man. So, so I said, well, I love cooking. I'm pretty good at it. So I went into food. But then, as you may know, I don't know if you have friends who are chefs, but the hours are pretty brutal.
Yep.
You know, working a lot of nights and
Yep.
weekends, and plus the really big thing though is that I had this empty spot in here, right?
Hmm.
As I aged, I started to get more aware of the fact that I didn't feel like I was really contributing to the world all that much by being a chef. It wasn't bad, but chef's kind of I don't know, kind of an unnecessary occupation when you look at it. I mean, if we didn't have them, you would still figure it out, right? We'd still be able to cook some food. So I really needed a bigger impact. And that's when I started doing some um, searching, right?
Ah,
Inside, outside. Hey, what can I do? These are my personality traits. These are
yeah.
my loves. These are my, strengths and weaknesses. What fits? And one of
Yeah.
the things that popped up on the radar was chiropractic.
Beautiful. You harnessed your internal telescope.
Did harness my internal telescope. I flipped it right around.
Right on. Beautiful.
Boom. Nice job there, off Christian. I saw what you did right there.
You saw, yeah, that was tricky style, right? That was tricky style. So, what is one really powerful, potent thing you would like to leave the listeners with that would support them in maybe activating their internal telescope or their sense of purpose? Or what would you like to leave listeners with, Harry? That's a beautiful gem that might encourage them to reach out to you.
Well, there's a quote that I really like, which is the person who knows how will always have a job. The person who knows why will always be the boss. And my
Mm,
goal is to make people the boss of their own health. So
mm,
I want to explain the why. I want people to understand why I look at a person who is coughing and sneezing, or chiropractors look at a person who's coughing and sneezing and says, they're healthy. They're not sick. They don't feel good. I get that. But the immune system's doing what it's supposed to do. They're healthy. Because quite often it's not what we don't know that gets us into trouble.
okay.
It's what we know for certain that just isn't so.
Mm,
And we need to shine a light on that that stuff that we really think we know and say, well, is it really true?
Hmm.
You know, then we can learn, we can move forward, we can grow. And shoot, wouldn't it be nice to walk around in an earth full of happy people who weren't struggling with physical and mental problems?
Yes, that would be lovely.
Yeah, I agree.
So I have a couple of more questions for you. Is that okay?
Sure,
So one of
100%.
them is you mentioned um, helping people understand really what's true. Where is the source, or where is the residence of that ultimate truth? Where does that reside? Where does ultimate truth reside, in your opinion?
Ultimate truth for in what respect?
Ultimate truth in response in the respect of you want people to understand the truth of the matter, the truth of reality, the truth of what it is that they are experiencing. That it's not that they're ill. It's just that there's a natural order going on, and that's the truth of what is in fact actually happening. Where does that reside? I don't.
Well, a lot of truth resides in experience.
Mm,
You know, we kind of shortchange ourselves, I think, sometimes, as we don't look at ourselves and our experience as being as valid as maybe it is. And we look outside to experts, and there's nothing wrong with that at
yep.
all. I'm all for it. But I think we need to value our own experience more. There's a number of people, and mostly it's female patients of mine whose
Okay.
husbands, quote unquote, don't believe in
Mm,
chiropractic,
yeah.
and they won't come in. And she said, I keep coming anyways, and I tell them I know I'm better. You know,
Yep.
I have more energy, I have better sleep, I have better mental concentration. My symptoms went away early on, so that's a good thing. So I'm not stopping something that works. So you know, she's solid because she knows based on her experience that what is true. And I think if more people did that in different areas, I'm not just saying in health and
Yep.
chiropractic, you know, but honored their experience a little bit more and trusted their own expertise, you know, maybe there'd be a little bit more, um, maybe there'd be a little bit more happiness, right? And people being comfortable in their own skin as they realize, hey, maybe not all the answers are out there. Maybe they're inside if I just maybe calm the opinions down and the mental chatter and just sort of observe and see what I, you know, feel to be true.
That's beautiful. So it's trusting in the process, trusting in the experience, learning from it, developing wisdom, which leads to a more powerful, potent, and enjoyable life. And that is the proof is in the pudding there. That truth is there in the experience, then that is a wonderful, like more wonderful experience.
Yeah, isn't it though? Sure.
Beautiful. So, Harry, how do people find you? How can listeners find you?
Well, they can find me at, if they wanted to go online, they could find me at newpatientclass.com. That is the website that has a little introduction to my program, and that would be a great place to start.
Newpatientclass.com.
Newpatientclass.com.
Okay, beautiful. Great place to
And if
start.
you're in San Diego, you know, you can submit a contact us form and we can meet up for a fish taco or something.
I love, so there's a place north of the city. I don't really recall where it is. It's like some great tacos I had there like probably 15 years ago, and apparently it's still there. It's north of the city, and it's on these two roads that kind of come together out towards where the ocean is. I know
Hmm.
this could be like any taco place in that area these days, but those were really good tacos that I had. I think it
Yeah,
was.
no shortage of great tacos here. That's for darn sure.
Well, I got to get out to San Diego one of these days. Got to bring my Labrador Retriever out to the ocean. He hasn't seen the ocean yet.
Oh wow, how old is he?
He is 2.
Okay, what color?
Black lab.
Black, his name?
Bodhi. 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 The wise one. He's running.
Oh, the wise one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He-
Bodhisattva. Good.
Bodhisattva. He's running the joint. So,
Okay, well, as he should. There's a couple of really great dog beaches out this way, one in Coronado, one in Ocean Beach,
yep.
and a lot of dog beaches in Southern California where you can just go and
Yep.
yeah, mix with other dog owners and have yourself a
Yep.
ball.
Right on. Well, Harry, I really appreciate your time. Any parting words you'd like to leave? Any more pearls of wisdom for us?
Oh boy, yeah, go out and enjoy live music. For all your listeners out there, go out and enjoy live music. If you love it, one of the phrases I came across not too long ago said, "Music is what feelings sound like."
Mm,
And once I started internalizing that, I appreciated more different types of music than might normally listen to.
music is what feelings sound like. That is
Yeah.
potent. I'm going to use that. I'm going to say, as my friend and colleague Harry Heater said, music is what feelings sound like. The second time I use it, I'm going to say, as I once heard, is what feelings sound like. And the third time, Harry, as I've always said,
As I've always said.
music is what. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. You have a beautiful day.
Listen, I appreciate you very much. Thank you, my friend. Take care.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye.
Well, thanks for tuning in to another edition of VisionCast Network, where intention, collaboration, and technology gather in service to humanity. Until the next time, this is Christian Raphael signing off. Have yourself a great day, blessings, and cut!